United Nations Security Council adopted a resolution on Monday demanding an immediate ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militants Hamas after the United States abstained from the vote, sparking a spat with ally Israel.
The result of the voting is as follows: 14 votes in favor, 0 vote against, 1 abstention. The draft resolution has been adopted as Resolution 2728, 2020.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the failure of the U.S. to veto the resolution was a clear retreat from its previous position and would hurt Israel's war efforts. An Israeli law that grants exemptions from military service for ultra-Orthodox Jews is due to expire at the end of the month, paving the way for their possible conscription. Linda Gradstein reports for VOA from Jerusalem.
Since the beginning of the war in Gaza on October 7th, Israel has called up nearly 300,000 reservists. This was in addition to the regular standing army, in which almost 90% of Israeli Jewish youth serve. In contrast, among ultra-Orthodox Jewish young men, only about 3% are drafted into the Israeli army. This almost blanket exemption from the draft was granted to the ultra-Orthodox so they can study the Torah in religious institutions instead of doing military service. But it is now the subject of heated public debate. Linda Gradstein, VOA News, Jerusalem.
President Vladimir Putin on Monday acknowledged for the first time that radical Islamists were behind last week's attack on a concert hall outside Moscow, but suggested they were linked to Ukraine somehow, a claim that Kyiv has rejected and called absurd. This is VOA News. Former U.S. President Donald Trump rallied against a judge's decision on Monday to set his criminal hush money trial for April 15th after the Republican presidential candidate's efforts to postpone the case. Reuters correspondent Freddie Joyner reports.
The start date all but ensures that Trump will become the first ever former U.S. president to go on trial for criminal charges. It also paves the way for Trump to either be convicted or cleared before the November 5th election. The case is one of several Trump faces as he ramps up his 2024 campaign against Democratic President Joe Biden. But a U.S. appeals court handed the 77-year-old a lifeline in a separate case on Monday, giving Trump 10 additional days to post a substantially lower $175 million bond to stave off enforcement of a $454 million civil fraud judgment.
Reuters correspondent Freddie Joyner. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed one of the strictest social media bans for younger teens in Florida into law. AP correspondent Jackie Quinn reports.
If Florida's new social media limits survive expected court challenges, they would be some of the most restrictive in the nation, starting January 1st. Governor Ron DeSantis says children under 14 can't have social media accounts, and parents would have to approve them for kids 15 and 16.
Being buried in those devices all day is not the best way to grow up. It's not the best way to get a good education.
And he warns of potential danger from online predators.
You have predators that can get right in there into your own home.
Governor DeSantis had sought an even stricter outright ban for teens under 16, but lawmakers watered that down to parental consent, similar to Arkansas's law. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Nigeria's defense chief general said on Monday the military was being fed bad intelligence by informants, hampering the fight against armed kidnapping gangs who continue to abduct students and residents in the north of the country. The military announced on Sunday it had rescued 137 students abducted by gunmen earlier this month in northwestern Kaduna State. The school children arrived in Kaduna on Monday. Anti-establishment candidate Bassirou Diomaye Faye on Monday is set now to become the youngest president in Senegal's history after his rival conceded the race, triggering a political earthquake in the West African nation. It marks a stunning victory for the 44-year-old, who was only freed from prison 10 days before Sunday's election, whose results are not yet official.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.